I sound crazy, look crazy. It's Thanksgiving morning, 2020. I got my head wrap on, protecting the braids. I got one kid here. And my other little one right here. I'm exhausted. I'm only making 2 dishes today, so everyone else is going to do the rest. So I will be back once I start making my dishes. Be back. See, be back.
Be back.
Okay, guys, it's time to start cooking for Thanksgiving. My 2 dishes that I'm going to make. My candy yams, you're going to need at least 5 to 6. However, I use about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to use 7 of them. They're kind of small. You want to wash them off first in the water. Of course, before you start, wash your hands before you do anything. I'm trying to get all this done. I'm just making yams and macaroni and cheese. So that's literally all I'm making. All right. You need to peel them. So you obviously your potato peeler. You got the yams. I got my little sidekick. Literally, I just do this to all of them really quick.
Another broken plate. Another called off date. We never seem to get it right. Another heart attack. Words that we can't take back. We are the reason opposites attract. Once you slam the door on the second floor, I regret it all. When I think it through, I can help the way I feel for you. You make me lose.
Okay, so once the yams are all washed and peeled, I go ahead and just dice it all up, add them to my pot, and then I'll make that mixture to go on top of my yams. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up so you can watch the rest.
Why don't you get it by now? Tell me what you learned in grade school. Give it to me like you want it. Did you forget that?
Okay, so I didn't make a whole lot of yams, or candy yams. So I grabbed about a stick of butter. You're going to see me take off a little bit of that butter as well because, again, I didn't make a lot, and my mom asked that question, why is there not a lot of the candy yams? However, go ahead and let that butter melt inside of that pan completely before you add anything else to it. Okay, so that butter is completely melted. That next step you're going to do is to add your brown sugar. I add about a cup of brown sugar. You can do maybe a fourth. It depends on your taste buds, honestly, if you want it sweet or not, but we like it sweet. So I go ahead and add that cup of brown sugar in there. And obviously, if you have some vanilla extract, use about a teaspoon. I had vanilla orange. Don't use that. So I can add that in there. However, I do also add about a teaspoon of regular white sugar inside of it as well. And then you're going to go ahead and mix all that up until it's nice and smooth. You want that smooth mixture on top of your candy yams when you're pouring it inside of those candy yams. And then I'll go ahead and I'm going to show that part as well. Okay, so that mixture is nice and smooth. This is how you want it. Literally, you don't want clumps in it. You want it nice and smooth texture, like I said, to go over those yams. And so I'm just showing exactly how the consistency should be. And my husband was holding the camera, so I was trying to show him as well how it should be. But that's basically it. You're going to pour that on top of those candy yams. Okay, so now you got your yams and your mixture. So pour the mixture all over your yams. Take a spoon, spatula, whatever you have, and you want to completely cover all of your yams. Literally, you want all of it to be covered. And now that I'm looking at this, I realize I did not make a lot. I didn't. That's why they're all gone. But anyways, like I said, go ahead and completely cover those yams up. And then I'm going to show you that next step. Okay, so those yams are done. I ended up leaving them for about a good 40 minutes to get them nice and soft because I didn't have a lot of yams anyways. Okay, so that next step is to add those marshmallows. I like the big marshmallows. Again, I like my yams to be nice and sweet. That's just how I like it. That's how we really like it, honestly. So I'm just showing how I put the marshmallows across the glass dish that I have. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw that right back into the oven to melt those marshmallows for about a good 10, maybe 15 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and show, how that end result ended up looking like. I so did not make enough yams, but I did go back in and add more marshmallows to the yams, and they actually were really, really good. So on to my mac and cheese. I use some smoked hickory bacon. I'm going to go ahead and cut that in half. I'm going to fry that. Of course, I use my shells. I have some heavy whipped cream. I use Italian breadcrumbs on top. I add cream cheese to my roux that I'll make. I'll show you. Butter. And then I have 3 different cheeses. So I use pepper jack cheese. There's extra sharp cheese. And then just cheddar cheese. So I have those 3 mixtures in here. I shred them by hand. I like it better. I feel like the cheese is a lot more fresh. And then of course you're gonna need your flour. So I will show you once I have that water boiling right here. Once that's boiling, and then I add my noodles in there, I'll show you all the next steps that I do for the macaroni and cheese. So I'll be back. Okay, so my noodles are done. I actually, once I drain it, I run cold water over my noodles. It just works better for me and they don't stick. I go ahead and I take about 2 tablespoons of stick butter and I add that to my skillet. I'm going to start making that roux for my macaroni and cheese. Let that butter melt completely down. And then you're going to go ahead and add some flour to your butter. Okay, so that butter is completely melted down. That next step is going to be adding your flour into that roux. I normally add about 3 tablespoons of flour to it. The goal is to get that roux that you're making nice and thick. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you that next step really quick as to what I do for that roux. Okay, so once that is done, you're going to now add that heavy whipping cream. I do honestly always buy the biggest container, but you can use a smaller one. It depends on you. However, I do like my macaroni and cheese to be very creamy. So I use, sometimes if I buy that big one, about dang near almost all of it. I leave maybe a half a cup left. It just really just depends on how big of a pot that I make it in macaroni and cheese. But to me, the more the merrier. You are going to start to see that consistency of your mixture from the flour and the butter and that heavy whipping cream. It does start to thicken up. Alright, so that next step is to add about 2 spoonfuls of that cream cheese into that mixture. You don't have to use that, but I do, and that actually, again, it just helps thicken up that sauce for your macaroni and cheese.
Turn up in mine. Then you knock on my door on the 2nd floor and I feel
okay, so that roux is done, and as you can see, it is getting creamier and creamier the longer it sits, and that is exactly how I like for my roux to look. That next step is going to be to add some seasoning. You don't have to do this step, but I do. So I use Cajun seasoning, the Cajun blackened seasoning to be exact. And I also like garlic in my macaroni and cheese. I use garlic on a lot of stuff, but I use a little bit of garlic on that as well. You're going to mix that up inside of your mixture. And then that next step is going to be to add your cheese. I have, like I said, those 3 cheeses. And some people might use like 1 cheese at a time. But for what? It all gets mixed together. So I add about 3 handfuls of that cheese into that roux. And I mix it up really good to make it nice and creamy and thick.
we never get it right, but somehow it feels right. We never get it right, but it still feels right. We never get it right, but somehow it feels right. That's how I feel about you. You make me lose my mind like all the time. It still feels right. Stuck in an endless fight like every
Okay, so once your roux is completely done, this is what you should end up with. Nice creamy, a nice creamy roux. So that's exactly why I add that cheese into it. You're going to go ahead and pour that into your macaroni and cheese. And I scraped as much as I could out of that skillet. Cover that macaroni and cheese with that roux. Okay, once that's done, you're going to pour that macaroni and cheese. I butter my casserole dishes. So I put a little bit of butter on the bottom of that dish. You're going to spread that macaroni and cheese out evenly throughout that dish. And then, yes, I add a little bit more of that cheese into my macaroni and cheese because it's macaroni and cheese. So once you do that, you're going to go ahead and then add your breadcrumbs. It's the Italian breadcrumbs that I use. And then you're going to top that off with bacon if you do want bacon on top of your macaroni and cheese. And that is it. I put that into the oven on 350. Normally it takes about 15 minutes to completely just melt all the way through. And I'll show you that end result to the mac and cheese as well.
Doesn't make any sense to me, but who am I to question my feelings? I'm leaving you for someone else, but it's not who you might think it is. It's someone who you're already loving.
This is the final result to the mac and cheese. It is done. I was going to show you let me see. Let me get a fork so I can show, or a spoon or something. It is nice and gooey. This is that mac and cheese. So I'm gonna go ahead and head over to my mom's. Say hi, baby.
I want to show them now.
It's already done. I already showed it. That's it. So I'll be back. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanksgiving is done and over with. Getting my toast done by my husband. It looks like he's mad. We don't have any more cotton balls, so he has to use tissue. You struggling?
Nope. Just remover is struggling, not me.
I got my Coke float with me. That is it. I will see you guys on the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not yet. And I'll be back on the next one. Bye.